Police tactical operations units deployed to Aripo and Ibafo to flush out armed criminals. Lagos-Calabar rail line to be delivered within 4 years. And Supreme Court settled 6-year-old Offa chieftaincy dispute. Offa of Offa reaffirmed. Plus, former governor and speaker of Adamawa State granted 500 million naira bail. Thanks for joining us on the NTA Network News tonight. I am Ronke Kolawole. We're reaching you live from Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria. Welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Daura, Katsina State on a private visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president, who left Abuja at about 2 o'clock after the Jumat prayers, was seen off at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by the Minister of FCT, Muhammad Musa Bello, and other senior government officials. On hand to receive him at the Katsina International Airport were Governor Aminu Bello Masari, his deputy, members of the State Executive Council, principal officers of the State Assembly, the political class, as well as the business community. The Emir of Katsina, Alhaji Abdulmumin Kabir Usman, also led other traditional title holders to give the president a rousing welcome. From the airport, President Buhari proceeded to his hometown Daura, where hundreds of people turned out to receive him. Among them is the Emir of the ancient kingdom of Daura, Dr. Farouk Umar Farouk, as well as the local council officials. This is the first time the president is visiting home after his vacation in the United Kingdom early last month. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has reassured the international community of the unshakable resolve of his administration to ensure that the abducted Chibok girls are rescued and reunited with their families by whatever means. The president, who hosted members of the diplomatic corps to the breaking of the Ramadan fast, says measures have also been taken towards the resettlement of the displaced victims of insurgency on their communities within the shortest time possible. State House correspondent Adam Sambu reports.
This is the second time in 5 months President Muhammadu Buhari is interacting with members of the diplomatic corps to underscore the great importance his administration attaches to partnership and collaboration with their countries in tackling common challenges in the 21st century. With security as one of such challenges, President Muhammadu Buhari said Nigeria counts on their continued support in his firm determination to completely annihilate the Boko Haram terrorist group.
Our first priority is to rescue the school girls unharmed by whatever means. We are living daily with the pains of the forcible fate of these dear girls.
The president also regretted the renewed hostilities in the Niger Delta region, saying the situation is being addressed and hopes are high for speedy resolution.
No group of terrorists will divert this government from engaging with all interest groups to tackle the problems of Niger Delta, namely youth unemployment, poor infrastructure, and ecological damage.
On the fight against corruption, President Buhari applauded the tremendous cooperation being received from the nation's development partners in the recovery of looted funds, urging them to ensure that the funds are repatriated to Nigeria, which will assist in the pursuit of development goals.
The fight against corruption is one that this administration is resolutely determined to win. I shall endeavor to pursue the recovery of all stolen funds and the prosecution of treasury looters in accordance with the law.
The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps and Cameroonian Ambassador to Nigeria, Salahuddin Abbas Ibrahim, commended President Buhari for the value he attaches to the relations with their countries, which he said are highly committed to supporting Nigeria's development aspirations.
Our wish to you is eternal peace for Nigeria, and that the enormous efforts by your government will, in the shortest time, bring the highly awaited prosperity to the Nigerian people.
The breaking of the Ramadan fast with members of the diplomatic corps is the last to be hosted by President Muhammadu Buhari this year. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Buhari has emphasized the need for collective effort by Nigerians to end insurgency. The president was speaking in a message to the graduation of participants of Senior Course 38 at Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, Kaduna State. Mohammed Lawa Baba has the details.
Represented by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the president said the fight against insurgency needs the cooperation of all Nigerians to succeed, hence the need for collective effort in that direction. He said the federal government on its part will continue to take measures necessary to ensure the armed forces is well equipped and motivated to tackle threats.
Our society is more complex and our world is more difficult than ever before. The nature of warfare is also vastly different. Consequently, the officer of today cannot just be a soldier. In any event, being in the military today requires more than just carrying weapons. The officer must be a public intellectual of sorts, a thinker, a diplomat, versatile and dynamic.
The president, however, urged them to uphold higher standards of conduct, integrity, teamwork, as well as respecting the rule of law and human rights in their service to the nation.
I remain convinced that this course has made you more knowledgeable in the effective and efficient use of men and resources under your charge. So as you are conferred today with the award Past Staff Course, PSC, I have no doubt that you fully appreciate that there is a huge responsibility to the armed forces and to the Nigerian nation that comes with this exceptional privilege.
Commandant, Armed Forces Command and Staff College Jaji, Air Vice Marshal Suleiman Abubakar Dambu, said the aim of the course is to develop the skills of the students in order to efficiently operate in a single, combined, or joint multi-agency operations.
With this qualification, the college has laid a solid professional foundation for you, and you are now fully equipped to cope with most challenges that you are bound to meet as you progress in your careers.
The 191 graduates were conferred with Past Staff Course. There were 9 allied students among the graduates. Those that excelled were presented with awards. In Kaduna, Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
From Kaduna State back to Abuja, where the Minister of Transportation, Chibuike Amechi, is optimistic that the Lagos-Calabar rail line will be delivered within 4 years. The minister gave the indication during the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding of the multi-billion-dollar project in Abuja. Ogeji Paul has that report.
Minister of Transportation Chibuike Amechi signed on behalf of the federal government, while Xiaobao Zhang, President, China Civil Engineering Construction Company, endorsed the dotted lines as proof of commitment to deliver the rail project, which cuts across 3 geopolitical zones of the country.
The entire contract covers Calabar, Uyo, Aba, Port Harcourt, Yenegua, Ueli, Warri, Sapele, Benin, Abo, Asaba, Onitsha, then back to Benin, and then Ore, Ijebu-Ode, Shagamu, and Lagos. This funding will not be the problem, that we need to conclude this in 2 years. That is, conclude Lagos-Ibadan in 2 years, and conclude Calabar to Port Harcourt in 2 years. That would be wonderful.
The project was initiated by the Goodluck Jonathan administration. Minister Chibuike Amechi said the multi-billion naira project has been renegotiated downwards from $11.917 billion to $11.117 billion.
So we're able to save $800 million.
Sao Banjang said it's been a long and interesting journey of negotiations and pledged the capacity of the company to deliver the rail project, whose value chain will substantially contribute to national development.
Railway can contribute more for the economic development for Africa.
The development is said to be another watershed in the rail transportation policy of the present administration. Ogechi Paul, NTA News.
In an effort to develop the Niger Delta region, the federal government is partnering governors of the 9 states in the region, as well as the private sector and international donor agencies, to execute people-oriented projects. One of such is how to access a 4 billion naira UNICEF fund for water intervention schemes in each of the states. Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Usani Uguru Sani, disclosed this in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State after a meeting with the governors and other partners. Isaac Nkuma was there for NT News.
The meeting, which was held behind closed doors, centered on exploring the federal government's private sector investment initiatives for the benefit of the people of the Niger Delta. Topping the list is a collaboration with UNICEF for water intervention schemes under the EU Water Support Program across 5 states of the region in its first phase, with the state governments expected to remit 350 million naira as counterpart fund. The minister urged the governors to ensure that the funds are remitted before the end of July so as not to lose out. So far, only Akwa Ibom and Delta states have made commitments.
We think that it's no longer necessary or relevant or even expedient for each arm of government or organ of government to be doing things independently. For this reason, we have reached an accord to guarantee our working relationship for the good of the indigents of the region.
We've agreed that we will not just come here to discuss and then leave. We'll look at the execution. And most of the things we've discussed are easily measurable. So we have to measure also, in line with time, what we have achieved.
In the meantime, a telecommunications outfit has submitted a proposal seeking for a right-of-way to lay broadband fiber optics in all the 9 states of the region. This, the minister said, will attract investors while the ministry concludes its industrial park clusters of between 200 to 700 hectares of land in each of the Niger Delta states. In Uyo, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
And still on developmental issues, former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, has called for collaboration between the state governments and the federal establishments resident in the 36 states of the federation for the overall development of the country. He made the call when the executives of the federal heads of establishments in Niger State, led by its chairman, Mohammed Ali, interacted with him at his hilltop residence in Mina. Mary Noel Breje reports.
Abdulsalami Abubakar, while acknowledging the role of federal establishments in the development of any nation, noted that it was important for state governments to support their presence in the states so as to bring about rapid development, adding that their spread also promotes national unity. To address some of the challenges raised by the executives of the federal establishments, the former head of state urged the state governments to intend to provide them with conducive environment for them to carry out their national assignment.
A lot of private citizens and organizations can also help in assuaging these problems raised by these parasites.
Some of the requests we made in terms of intervention, some were immediately answered, while some are still pending.
The chairman said the state chapter has secured 33 acres of land at Rafin Yashi and allocated to about 265 officers serving and retired, making it the largest single estate in the state. In Mina, I am Mary Nabashi, NTA News.
And talking security now, the Department of State Service has arrested one Christian Oluba, alias Senso, a suspected member of Niger Delta Avengers, while perfecting plans to carry out explosive attacks on critical oil and gas pipelines and critical storage points. A statement by the service stated that successful arrests of several suspected kidnappers were also made across the country, including 6 gang members linked with the kidnap of 2 Catholic nuns in Akure, Ondo State. The statement called on members of the public to be wary of suspicious packages and persons during the coming Eid al-Fitr celebration, as intelligence gathered indicates that extremist elements are planning to attack selected locations across the country. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has deployed a tactical operations unit comprising the police mobile force, the counter-terrorism unit with the backup of an air surveillance team to flush out vandals and other criminal elements operating in Arepo and Ibafo areas of Ogun State. The IGP says the deployment of the police is to prevent any criminal elements from taking the law into its hands. He authorized the police to deal decisively with anyone who constitutes himself an enemy of the state. The police action is coming on the heels of antisocial behavior by miscreants in Arepo and Ibafo areas of Ogun State. Away from security matters now, Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, has urged staff of the organization to imbibe what he called monotonous efficiency to achieve a desired goal of progress in broadcasting. He said this during his maiden meeting with the staff at his headquarters in Abuja. Chukunamso Nwabueze has that report.
The Director General, who started his broadcasting career at NTA Jos, emphasized that since majority of the staff believe in taking the authority to greater heights, there must be more commitment in discharging responsibilities.
I want to assure you that all the welfare schemes that are in place will be maintained. The only trickery we will do in the welfare scheme is to take a critical look at it and see if there are ways and means of improving on it.
While responding to questions, the DG stated his resolve to leverage on the experiences and expertise of past Director Generals of NTA, as well as other veterans of the organization, to deliver on his mandate.
I will bring all of them to Abuja. and convince them to form former DGs forum. It's going to be big, it's going to be influential, and it's going to help NTA a great lot.
The Executive Director Engineering, Omar Said Mohammed, that of Programs, Eugenia Abu, as well as General Manager of the Integrated Television Services, Salami Rotimi, were on hand to brief staff on NTA's level of preparedness for next year's digital migration through the right content, quality production, and standard facilities. In Abuja, Chukunonso Nwabeze, NTA News.
As the Supreme Court affirms Oba Muftau Badamosi as Olofa of Offa, a federal high court in Abuja grants 500 million naira bail to former Adamawa State Governor and Speaker Ahmad Umar Fintiri. Details of this and an update on Abia State when we return. Just stay with us.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
When you look at the world today, what do you see? The obvious, or much more? Do you hear a color tune, or the talents of thousands paying off? Do you see an instant message, or millions of strengthened relationships? Do you see an app or creative entrepreneurs? An email or multiples of successful business transactions? Do you see charity or renewed faith in our shared humanity? Do you hear the laughter of millions of people in Africa's largest family? It's never enough to see only what's before us. That's why MTN is empowering a tomorrow that's driven by digital technology and made for Africa by Africans.
I'm an undergraduate student. I major in physics education. I teach physics and basic science to kids between the ages of 9 to 17. As a science teacher, teaching students about energy is one of the most interesting topics. Kids are playful, they are active. It is very interesting explaining to them that their activities can actually be converted into power. The shell kinetic and solar pitch is the perfect way to explain to them how energy is generated from their sporting activities can actually be converted into power.
Science is fun. It inspires. It teaches us we can convert our own energy into light. I want to become an engineer when I grow up.
What if your idea could change the world?
Glow is in the air. It's data. It's what you use every time you download music. It's what streams movies. It's what the banks use to check your account. It's the very lifeblood of modern living. Data. And where does it all come from? According to industry sources, more and more of it came from here. They acknowledge that Glow is now the largest data network in Nigeria. With your own Glow One submarine cable linked seamlessly to tens of thousands of kilometers with your own fiber optic cable. Glow can provide a huge data capacity anywhere at a more flexible and affordable price than anyone. It's simple. So you see, Glow is in the air. It's everywhere. Say hello to the Grandmaster.
Enjoy our new data overload. Double your data on every plan, like 6 gigabytes for 2,000 naira, 12 gigabytes for 3,000 naira, and 24 gigabytes for 5,000 naira. Dial *777# to select a plan. The largest data network. Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
The Petroleum Tankers Drivers of Nupeng, in collaboration with Federal Road Safety Corps, hereby express solidarity with the country. The Fitri, obeying traffic rules and regulations during disputes and way that are fasting and other road users to reach their destinations, while wishing all Nigerian Muslim faithfuls a successful Eid al-Fitr. Say consider road users is a religious obligation which we must observe. Don't drive with one out or expires. To our base message is brought to you by Petroleum Tankers Driving.
We are here to serve, and indeed, Nigerians will get the service they have longed for and which they rightly deserve.
The leader today that we have in Nigeria is one the world has been waiting for. Nigeria is seen in a new and a different, very positive light.
With what President Muhammadu Buhari is doing, our economy will be strong and resilient to withstand the shocks.
He wants the best for this nation. We want the best for this nation. Our aspirations should be to put this country first, and together we shall make progress.
If we don't believe in our own country, nobody will believe in our own country. So we must make sure that we continue with the trajectory. We don't want to make a mistake of the past.
This president has a singular opportunity to make that difference because the whole country is behind him.
And by the grace of Almighty God and the sheer will and determination of the Nigerian people, we will come out stronger and more united than ever.
Glad to know you're still watching the network news on NTA Network Service. The Supreme Court has upheld the appointment of Oba Muftau Gbadamosi as the Olofa of Offa in Kwara State. The Supreme Court also used the judgment to settle decades of issues on the pattern of rotation in the ascension of the Olofa stool. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okiowo reports.
Oba Muftau Gbadamosi, the sitting Olofa of Offa, was installed in 2010 after being appointed by the Offa Council of Kingmakers and ratified by the Kwara State Governor in line with the Chief's edict of Kwara State. This process was contested in court by the candidate of the other ruling house, the Olugbense House, on the grounds that Oba Muftau belonged to the Anileleni ruling family, which they said had more or less monopolized the stool in recent decades. Now the Supreme Court has put a stamp on the process that brought forth the Olofa, saying that the lower court, which had earlier agreed with the Olugbense ruling family, had no jurisdiction to contravene the traditional lineage of the Offa people.
My reaction is very overwhelming. You can see the excitement
from all the people that have come from Offa. This decision by the Supreme Court have ably captured the culture and the traditional practice of appointing Olofa of Offa.
As a government, we are there for peace of the community, and we'll be expecting to hear from the two communities. Certainly, the government will come up with kind of proposal to see that we carry out the suggestion as made by the Supreme Court.
In Offa, we are very grateful to God, and we are appealing to all our brothers because we are all one. Whatever happens, we are all one.
There are two ruling houses in Offa. Sadly, the Supreme Court has now said that there is only one ruling case remaining, an Ilele ruling house. Olugbense ruling house had ruled for 400 years before an Ilele ruling house was allowed to come in.
This judgment is far-reaching and has not just enriched the jurisprudence of the ascension to the throne of the Olofa of Offa, but has also put a seal on the tradition of the Offa people. From the Supreme Court, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Thank you, Femi. In another news, the Abia State Governor, Dr. Okeze Ikpeazu, has urged Abia people to remain calm and law-abiding. The governor, who spoke to newsmen in Umuahia, the Abia State capital, says the political crisis is not externally induced, as rumored in some quarters. Dennis Temple reports.
The Abia State Governor, who spoke to newsmen in Umuahia, reassured of his commitment to defend his mandate, even in the height of the political tension in the state. The governor urged the people of Abia not to believe the rumor making round that the political crisis in Abia is engineered by any external influence.
I want to dissuade the rumor that is making rounds everywhere that some people are sponsoring this. I don't think it is true, because we understand the position of the government at the federal level against corruption, and they cannot support the veil, somebody battling to wear the toga of immunity just because the person wants to run away from the certainty of justice.
The governor further explained that he had taken every judicial process to ensure that the rule of law is obeyed.
There is a court order restraining the chief judge or any legal officer anywhere in Nigeria from swearing in somebody. And there is no doubt about who is in charge and who is governor.
Record that the Federal High Court in Abuja, in a ruling by Justice Abang Okun, ordered Dr. Okeze Ikpeazu to vacate his seat as the governor of the state. In Umuahia, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
Former governor and speaker of Adamawa State, Ahmad Omar Fintiri, has been granted bail in the sum of 500 million naira by the Federal High Court in Abuja, where he's been tried for alleged money laundering and other corruption charges. The presiding judge, Justice Ahmad Muhammad, in his ruling on the bail application, said the prosecutors failed to prove why the defendant should not be granted bail. Part of the bail condition is that the defendant should produce 2 sureties in like sum with proof of property ownership. In Abuja, the case has been adjourned till the 6th of October for trial. In line with its human capital development component, the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, PTDF, is to train 13 students through a partnership with the French government. Mie Ogidi has that report.
The partnership between the French Embassy in Nigeria and the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, PTDF, is a long-standing relationship. This time around, the French government is offering to provide a number of concessions to 10 masters and 3 doctors of philosophy PhD students to study in oil and gas-related fields. The acting executive secretary of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, PTDF, Mr. Hamed Galadima, highlights some of the benefits from the partnership.
We don't pay tuition fees, insurance, health insurance. We are not paying for visa fees. Our students are also going to be given priority in accessing university accommodation. And the students will be considered as students of the French government.
And I believe that by associating with PTDF, we are also somehow contributing to the future of Nigeria.
The 13 beneficiaries were selected after a competitive exercise from all the zones in the country. In Abuja, Mie Ogidi, NT News.
Monitoring and supervision of teachers' training facilities and programs have received a boost with the graduation of 6 spy drivers of the National Teachers Institute from the Police College in Kaduna. At a reception for them, NTI's Director General, Dr. Aminu Ladan Sharihu, says it will enhance their professional competence. Oyeyemi Ajayi was there.
The spy driving course is part of the efforts to strengthen the capacity of staff across all the cadres in the institute. NTI's Director General, Dr. Aminu Ladan Sharihu, reiterated the institute's stance on training and retraining of staff, calling on the 6 spy drivers to serve as worthy ambassadors while on the job.
And we pledge that we'll make sure every cadre of staff of the institute is being given the opportunity actually to feel the sense of the atmosphere of training and retraining in the National Teachers Institute. And I want to use this opportunity also to call on you, based on the training you have, continue to apply the skills and strategies you acquire and you learned in the training.
Kaduna State Deputy Commissioner of Police, A. Abdurrahman, disclosed that the 6 spy drivers have a huge task of representing both the NTI and the Nigerian police, and as such must obey the law at all times.
You are not actually full police officers, you are spy drivers, but you have some of our privileges. So therefore, we also will definitely monitor you wherever you are.
The 6 drivers were part of a 6-week intensive driving course. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode appears in court on corruption charges and refused bail. Let's get details of this and business news from our Lagos Network Center, where Vera is standing by. Hello, Vera.
Thank you, Funke. Good evening and welcome. This is Lagos. Justice Muslim Hassan of the Federal High Court has scheduled Monday, the 4th of July, to rule on the bail application filed by the former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode, former Minister of State, Finance Nenadi Usman, and 2 others over 4.9 billion naira money laundering charges preferred against them by the EFCC. Counsel to the defendants argued their bail application before Justice Muslim Hassan, which the prosecution opposed. Counsels to Femi Fani-Kayode, Ifedayo Adedipe, and Ferdinand Orbit for Nenadi Usman prayed the court to grant their clients bail on self-recognition or on liberal terms. They argued that an accused person is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. EFCC counsel Mark Anana opposed the bail application, insisting that granting the applications would undermine the prosecution's case. Justice Muslim Hassan, after listening to their submissions, adjourned the ruling to 4th of July. The former Aviation Minister, Femi Fani-Kayode, and others are facing a 17-count charge preferred against them by the EFCC over money laundering. In Lagos, Viera. To correct the wrong perception about beer consumption and its health implications, the Nigerian Breweries PLC held the 2016 Nigerian Beer Breweries Symposium in Lagos. The theme was beer and culture. Ken Egbeliwe has details.
Beer consumption is one of the well-known rituals of social gathering in Nigeria. It is a culture among lovers of quality brew, especially those who understand the health benefits. The Managing Director of Nigerian Breweries PLC explained that the company will continue to identify critical sectors in the country on how to improve the well-being of Nigerians and help in the overall development of the nation's economy.
Creating value for the Nigerian economy and creating employment. To give you an example, Nigerian Breweries has 4,000 people directly on the payroll. And that is spread all over Nigeria. We have 11 breweries and our sales force is also working all over Nigeria. But even more important is the indirect economic impact that Nigerian Breweries has.
Discussants at the symposium focused on how healthy is beer consumption and the economic benefits.
What I think the focus should be on is encouraging the industry to localize their raw materials and giving them grants for research and tax rebates so that you can really have indigenous beers.
If you take a little bit of wine, your heart will, you have a healthy heart. And we're talking about high density lipoprotein, which alcohol has. And that helps to reduce incidence of cardiac disease as is documented.
Nigerian breweries, however, enjoined consumers to demonstrate high level of moderation in beer consumption. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
As Nigerians, especially operators and stakeholders in the nation's financial market, grapple with the new guidelines for the foreign exchange market, Business News takes a look at the mode of accessing Forex by small retailers.
Nice to have you join us on Business News. Since the introduction of the new guidelines for the foreign exchange market by the Central Bank of Nigeria, many Nigerians, particularly those at the retail end of the market, are yet to come to terms with the new procedure to accessing foreign exchange from the interbank market. To ensure better understanding of the new procedure, Business News sought explanations from some economic experts.
You submit a bid application with your bank, and then that authorizes the bank to bid on your behalf. And you must make sure that your account is funded. So your bank, with the fund of your account and the bid order you've given them and the formula from you have completed, will now bid in the interbank market to buy FX, knowing fully well that they're buying it on your behalf.
15 commercial banks have been approved by the Central Bank of Nigeria as primary market dealers to bid at the interbank market on behalf of customers.
There is so much idle naira in circulation that people are eager to transfer. So for those people, the rates is not the issue. The issue is that they just want to exit, to repatriate the money.
Minister of State Industry, Trade and Investment has restated government's determination to developing quality infrastructure to boost the nation's non-oil sector. She said the whole idea is to diversify the economy to increase Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings. The minister made this known during an inspection of the Standards Organization of Nigeria's world-class facility, comprising more than 40 laboratories for product examination.
We were able to certify standards for our goods and services. Exportation will increase, production will increase, and with all those increases will come job creation and employment for our young people.
The facility, when completed in October, is expected to create thousands of jobs for Nigerians.
In a situation where more than 90% of those products coming here have not been checked overseas, the automated system does not check quality. You now require the SON to physically inspect those products and verify that they conform to quality. And that's where the system is not foolproof.
And that's Business News. Thanks for watching.
And if you're just joining us, you're watching the NTA Network News from the Lagos Network Center. We have more reports ahead of the news from Abuja when we return after this time out. Don't go away.
What's the matter? It's your birthday. Guests are already waiting at the pool.
It's headache, cold, pains all over my body.
Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet contains powerful ingredients specially prepared to bring you fast relief from headache, body ache, cough, flu, cold, and fever. Baby, how are you feeling now?
Wow, I feel great thanks to Cold Time Tablet.
Cold Time Tablet also available with syrup for children. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, a quality product from Embassy Pharmaceutical and Chemicals Limited. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, your visa to healthy living. What?
What are you doing?
Stop! Stop!
There you go.
Yay, Indomie!
Cheers to all amazing moms who identify and nurture the uniqueness in our kids. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thanks for being there. And starting this part on religious matters, Muslims have been advised to take advantage of the last 10 days of the Ramadan to pray for the country and its leaders. Deputy Imam of the National Mosque, Abuja, Ibrahim Makari, in a sermon during today's Jumat service, admonished believers to allow the spiritual benefits of the month of Ramadan to live with them always. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
The Deputy Imam of the National Mosque, Ibrahim Makari, says the last 10 days of Ramadan is a period when Muslims expect Laylatul Qadr, a night of majesty.
Because whoever is blessed with Laylatul Qadr is like he is blessed with 1,000 months in addition to his lifetime.
Imam Makari wants believers to use the period for spiritual rebirth and allow the lessons learned to reawaken them to become more committed to the promotion of peace in the country. He equally spoke on what is expected of Muslims at the end of the month-long spiritual exercise.
Gratefulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and exchange gratitude with our Muslim brothers. Continue to maintain peace and harmony in our blessed nation, Nigeria, and help our leaders in their duty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed on them.
Special prayers were offered for the country's unity and development. The Jumat service, which is the last in this year's month of Ramadan, attracted a large crowd of worshippers from within and outside Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Also, Muslims have been admonished to worship Almighty Allah from the position of knowledge by getting acquainted with the teachings in the Holy Quran and Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. This was contained in a sermon by the Imam Mogadishu Mosque, Colonel Sheikh Garba Mustafa, at a special Jumat prayer to mark the Nigerian Army Day celebration. Defense correspondent Muhammad Abdelkadri reports.
In a sermon titled Islam and Terrorism, the Imam described acts of terrorism and insurgency as un-Islamic. He said Islam teaches and preaches respect for sanctity of life. Imam Mustafa said ignorance is not an excuse for any misdeed in a religion that encourages Muslim faithful to seek for knowledge.
God Almighty revealed Quran to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as a guide, blessing, and solutions to human problems.
The Chief of Army Staff appealed to religious and traditional leaders to drum support for the service in its bid to rid the country of terrorism.
Indeed, all Nigerian leaders to see that these terrorists, as we have defeated them in the field, there is need to also appeal to their conscience, and that's the essence of de-radicalization.
Muhammad Abdelkader, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the first NTA Muslim community iftar breaking of fast, serving as a significant platform of promoting religious tolerance and understanding between both Muslims and Christian faithful, was held in Abuja. Correspondent Abdullahi Garba Kudu reports that the event had in attendance people from within and outside NTA, including 2 federal ministers.
In a friendly environment, both Muslims and non-Muslims joined to break the Ramadan fast, which fell on the 25th day. Was much to eat and a lot of networking between the two religious followers. The event served as a unifying platform. Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, commended the organizers and advised all organizations under the ministry to emulate NTA community and use their profession and foster religious tolerance.
The kind of sermons that are preached both in churches and mosques, in some mosques and some churches, have done a lot to create the present sectarian strife. I wish to call on our spiritual fathers. You are our leaders, you are our fathers. Let your sermons be sermons of unity.
There were also goodwill messages from the FCT minister, the wife of the president and the cleric.
Our beautiful city Abuja and the territory of the FCTA will continue to be a source of unity.
It is Her Excellency's wish that all Nigerians will imbibe this spirit of togetherness and sharing of exemplified by the NTA iftar.
Talking together, relating together, I believe we break down barriers.
The Muslims and the Christians can work together in building one Nigeria.
Director General of the NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, said as part of its mandate, the organization will always support an initiative aimed at national cohesion.
We will give every community in NTA, and when I say every community, I'm talking about the Muslim community and the Christian community. We'll give them every support.
NTA is preaching the lesson of love, of unity, religious tolerance, religious harmony.
The organizers say they were motivated by the need to promote religious tolerance.
It is our spirit and the spirit of Nigerian nation and the spirit of the Nigerian Television Authority, which is a platform for social change.
This is the maiden edition of the program. Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
As part of the effort to bridge the widening gap of unemployment in the country, the Ministry of Communication has commenced capacity building on ICT for corps members across the country. The training takes off with over 100 corps members serving in the Federal Capital Territory, as reported by Ruben Okala.
The program, as explained by the organizers, is a practical demonstration of the present administration's concern and commitment to youth empowerment, job creation, and an attempt towards developing the requisite human capacity in the area of information technology for sustainable livelihood and national development. The program targets at developing and empowering graduates with IT skills during their service period, equipping and mentoring them to become successful entrepreneurs, as well as guaranteeing the well-being of the Nigerian youth.
Not for them to start looking for work after the training, but for them to be employers of labor, to set up small businesses here and there. One, they will meet the needs of the sector, they will set up their businesses, they will employ people. And that is the whole essence of what we are doing. We don't want them to finish their service and start looking for jobs here and there.
Focal point of the training is on software development.
Now I can tell you with all confidence that with my golden messenger, and you are at the comfort of your home, you can open that in your Android phone, select, even schedule messages.
After this, I'm hoping to open my own fashion store online where people could have a view of different clothing designs and get to purchase them online.
Other capacity building initiatives of NITDA include IT essentials for youth corps members, business process outsourcing, as well as IT skill development in web technology. Ruben Okala, NT News.
Another commercial break beckons, and when we return, a round off on the global scene in sports, plus an outpouring of tribute on the passing on of Ojumadu Ekwe. Stay with us.
With enormous passion to ensure the health and well-being of Nigerian women and children, and alleviates the suffering of the less privileged, wife of the President, Her Excellency, Aisha Muhammad Buhari's Future Assured project has embarked on continuous visits and donations to orphanages, schools, internally displaced people's camps, provision of free medical screening and treatment for women and children, providing educational support, as well as seeking national and international partnerships.
Future Assured, leading the way to a brighter future.
Creating a brighter tomorrow.
With Future Assured, we can create a better future for our women and children.
Support the cause and let's lift our nation to greater heights. For more inquiries, visit www.futureassured.org.ng. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children. The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Hi, I'm Corey David.
Maven. Okay, guess what? The police force is more efficient and more proactive than ever. All we need to do is trust the police and partner with the police.
I don't get that lot. God, you win.
The police is here to protect and serve you. All they need is your cooperation.
There be one for my hand, but God, you win.
So I'm calling on all communities to cooperate with the police to ensure fast response in case of any emergency. Police na your friend, though. If you no call police, who you want call?
I don't change my name to God you win.
This message is from the Nigeria Police Force.
And now from the global scene, European Union and United Kingdom officials disagree over Brexit trade negotiations as the United Nations human rights body passes resolution condemning internet shutdown during elections. These and more on Global Tidbits with Chimdema Ndubisi.
Dissensions are arising from United Kingdom European Union trade negotiations following UK's vote to leave the Union. EU's Trade Commissioner is insisting UK must leave the Union before initiating trade terms with the bloc. But other EU Commission officials have a different view. And Austria's Apex Court has cancelled the result of the presidential election held in May and ordered a rerun, following a court case instituted by the Freedom Party challenging the result. Freedom Party, which lost at the election, said postal votes were illegally and improperly handled. From Africa comes a report that Kenya's human rights lawyer that was declared missing last week has been found dead, along with his taxi driver. The country's Inspector General of Police had ordered the arrest of 3 policemen suspected of kidnapping the lawyer. In Southern Africa, protesters from South Africa, Zimbabwe and Mozambique kicking against the new Zimbabwean regulation that bans the importation of locally available goods have forced the closure of South Africa and Zimbabwe's common border. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
Next is Ayodeji Makinde on Sports Update.
The West Africa Golf Tour is set to partner schools in Nigeria as part of its target of identifying and developing golfing talents at a tender age. With Ghana's Amos Kobler winning the 4th leg of the tour concluded at the IBB International Golf and Country Club, Abuja, Monday, organizers say having a golf course will inspire younger players to become professionals and challenge the top stars on the continent.
It's no more like a picnic. It's like a daily
lecture, going to class every day to different schools, spending 1 hour or 2 hours in some cases to educate the little children.
English Premier League side Watford has signed Nigerian youth international Isaac Success for a club record fee of £12.5 million from Spanish side Granada. The pacey forward was a member of the Nigerian under-20 team to New Zealand 2015 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. He scored 5 goals and provided 6 assists in the 2015-2016 season in the Spanish La Liga. Portugal became the first team to qualify into the semi-final of the ongoing Euro 2016 Championship, edging out a hard-fighting Poland 5-3 on penalties after both teams could not be separated. Tied 1-1 at regulation time and extra time failed to yield any goals.
He blasts Portugal through to their 4th European semi-final.
On Saturday, the competition's top teams, Italy and Germany, will go head-to-head at the Stade Matmut Atlantique in Bordeaux, while host France will confront Iceland in Paris on Sunday. With sports updates, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has described former Minister of Culture, Tourism and National Orientation, Ojoma Ekwe, who passed away recently, as a compatriot who displayed uncommon passion and zest in the service of the nation. In a condolence letter he personally delivered to the wife of the former minister, Uche, in Abuja, Lai Mohammed expressed shock and sadness at the sudden passing away of the former minister. Lai Mohammed said there is no doubt that his death is a big loss not only to his immediate and extended family, but to the entire Nigerian nation, which he served so well in many capacities, including Minister of Transport, Minister of Foreign Affairs, as well as Ambassador to Canada. Lai Mohammed prayed for the repose of the soul of the departed and for succor to the entire family in this moment of grief. A former chairman of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Chief Tony Aneni, has described the late secretary of the board, Chief Ojoma Ekwe, as a loyal party man. In a condolence message, Chief Aneni, who described Ojoma Ekwe's death as shocking and heartbreaking, noted that the deceased carried out all his assignments as minister in 3 different portfolios: ambassador, and as National Secretary and Secretary, Board of Trustees of the PDP with distinction. Chief Aneni also noted that Ojoma Ekwe's brilliant perspectives on major issues of national interest and his service to humanity will be greatly mixed. Next is a quick check on weather prospect for Saturday.
Just pre-season in this time of the year and with so much saturation in the atmosphere, we welcome you to the month of July, and here are the weather forecasts for Saturday. We anticipate cloudy morning over most parts of the country with prospects of isolated thunderstorms in and around the high grounds of the central states, such as Jalingo axis and the inland cities of the southeast. Chances of localized afternoon and evening thunderstorms are expected over Mambela Plateau, Bauchi, Jos, Abuja, Kano, Katsina, Duse, the inland cities of the southwest, and the coastal belts. I am Susan Chukwukadibiopara. Stay tuned for more updates.
That's the NTA Network News on a day that the Nigeria police deployed a tactical operation unit to Arepo and Ibafo in Ogun State to flush out criminals. A memorandum of understanding was signed on completion of the Lagos-Calabar rail line within 4 years, and the Supreme Court ruled that Oba Mufta Gbadamosi remains the Olofa of Offa in Kwara State. And that is the latest development from our news desk. We thank you for watching, and we are wishing you a very beautiful weekend and a wonderful month of July. I am Ronke Kolawole. Thanks for being there.